Good morning. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We're powered by Advanced Trading. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate y'all joining us every day live at 9 o'clock where we break down today's news, talk about the markets. And you never know what we're going to say, what we're going to talk about. The show kind of builds itself. Cattle market had a great day yesterday. Grains are bouncing back here this morning. We got tariff talk. We got geopolitics. We're going to talk production in South America, cattle as well. We'll see where we go here. But let's quote up the board and head on over to LaSalle Street. We got March corn up 4 1/4, 488.5. March beans up 6 cents, 1062. Oil is a little firmer. Soy meal flat, unchanged. Your wheat market down a penny on Chicago, 553. KC wheat's down 4 cents at 570. Looking over at your feeder and your cattle markets, cattle are breaking back, giving a little bit back here this morning. March is down 40 points. Live cattle is down 200. Lean hogs down almost $1 in April. Looking over at your crude market on the energy side of things, energy market's catching a little bid here this morning. Crude's up 45 points. Diesel's up a penny. Nat gas is up 3 cents. Equities, the Dow up 84 points. The S&P down 6.5. The NASDAQ down 125. Bitcoin up 1,000. Gold's weaker. Silver's weaker. The dollar's a little firmer. All right, let's jump into the show, break down some headlines. Bring in my friend Connor B. Welcome, Connor.
Wow, thank you for having me. And I gotta say, you're getting better and better at the sounds. The cow, you did the cow one seamlessly. That was great.
Just trying to plug them in there. It's a lot going on. My brain it's kind of one directional. Multitasking is difficult.
Oh, that's great. All right, what do we got today, Brady? What's the headline? Should we talk a little weather? Where you want to go?
Well, let's start with the obvious. Cattle had a great day yesterday. $5 on feeders. Big day yesterday in the cattle market. Exciting to see them bounce back. March breaking out. We might even pull up a chart later if we want to. Take me a second to get there, but had higher cash trade early in the week that was kind of supporting the market in the South. Indication when you have cash trade this early in the week, Connor, it's maybe some ideas that the packer needs to go out and buy, and then the fact that it traded and then maybe a little firmer trade that just kind of jumps these asking prices and gets everybody a little excited and euphoric. But at the end of the day, fundamentals are still supportive. We'll see how long this bull ride lasts. But yeah, good stuff in the cattle. We got that big cattle on feed report on Friday. We got the trade's looking for steady to kind of lighter on feed numbers, big range in placements. We'll see where they come in. Lots of different ideas there. But the cattle market were firm yesterday, and it's good to see.
Good deal. So when we look at here's a very simple question I'm going to lob to you. When we're looking at cattle, right? What's the next big story? Is it like commodities where we're looking at potential tariffs, right? What's the next? Where cattle markets at all-time highs, right?
Yeah.
Where's the threat in the next 3 to 6 months?
That's a great question. That's a good one. Yeah, I think a guy's got to look at the consumer when they start to push back. So when you look at the consumer, you got to look at the health of the economy. So any threat to the health of the economy or the consumer is a threat to these beef prices here. Then you look at the tariff side of things. On the bullish side, if you threw some tariffs on imported beef from Australia or Brazil, that could take this thing to the next level. To me, those are the primary things. And then the big questions: when will we start to rebuild the herd? I think personally, my bias is we are going to print the low beef cow inventory number here in January, the 30th at that report, and we are starting to rebuild the herd today. It may not be a fast rebuild because of outside forces, outside factors, but I think we will start to turn the corner and rebuild that herd going forward.
Gotcha. Good stuff.
Good question.
And you answered it well, right? Because the truth is, commodity markets, cattle markets, if we knew the next threat, the next opportunity, right, this business would be very easy. It's what we don't know in the next 3 months, or next 6 months, next year, what we can't prepare for, right? That's the biggest, we hope it's opportunities, right? We hope it's a bullish surprise. We got one a couple weeks ago with the USDA, but we got to be ready, and we got to defend our balance sheet too in case we get some of those threats. Right now, the easy one is the tariffs. Right, what are we going to see? Are we going to see anything? Right. Talk about something that continually changes. Now it's we're going to maybe Trump said something by February 1st. Who knows? That's in terms of the way Trump's moving so far, giving these executive orders out, that's a long way away. A lot could happen. So time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah. I think when it comes to cattle, the other piece too is, this isn't a market where you're chasing nickels. This is a market where you're protecting, dollar type moves and big moves. Don't get hung up in these markets chasing nickels or dimes. Manage the dollars as a big picture.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, hey, speaking of, I think you mentioned down south. How about how about the snow they're getting?
Crazy. Yeah. I got some graphics here. I loaded up here. Had a friend in Georgia that Kyle Smith here, Smith Cattle Meat Market. They pasture to plate type meat, beef they bring to the table. If you guys are looking for some high quality beef and you're in Georgia, I think they can ship anywhere, but Southwest Georgia, look at that snow, 8 inches of snow there. Look at these cattle. They haven't seen snow in their life. There's a lot of people down there that haven't seen snow in their lifetime. I think he said like 40 to 50 years. That they've had some occasional flurries, but not a significant snow like that in 40 to 50 years. And then here's a Bloomberg type of map looking at just that region there in the southeast, the snowfall. What a time to be alive, Connor.
Unbelievable. I saw something that it said the SEC was just trying to be like the Big Ten, right? Because we got the Big Ten winning football games now, but they just wanted to get the snow. They wanted to feel like the Big Ten conference. So
that's a good one. Yeah, trying to fit in.
Oh, man. So speaking of weather, looking down at South America, right, continues. We see dryness. We did see this from Micah T Storm Weather. Had that portion, it's missing some of it, but looking at near normal rainfall in that southern part of Brazil, the parts of Argentina, and then a little bit below rainfall totals in other parts. So it looks like they're getting a little bit of rain, but the question is it too little, too late, right? And then also the other story that continues to develop is that will significant moisture affect that second corn crop planting? And so you and I both said we're not getting bowled up in terms of a planting delay story, right? We learned our lesson there, but it's one to monitor. But so far, I don't think they need a big window. If we see a little bit dryness, I think they'll be able to get that crop in time. But hey, time will tell.
Yeah. What else are you watching down there, Connor B? What else is going on in South America? The planting delay, northern, southern. What
they got anything? Take your choice, right? We got to look at Argentina. We got to look at Brazil. They're harvesting soybeans. They've started planting corn. What are they? They're behind pace on both. I think usually we see corn planting at something around 5%, and we're at 1.52%. But the party never stops down there, right? We got to harvesting soybeans. We're gonna continue to see how that progresses. See how production numbers change, right? We were ready for some potential big soybean yields. And here's the thing to keep in mind: it is still a record, right? We're looking at record production numbers, unless we see pull a USDA and completely slash the numbers. But it was a month ago, it felt like it was a question of how big can it get. Now we've kind of tempered our expectations. It's still big. Don't get it wrong, but how big is it? So
yeah,
a lot of action there.
Definitely. Yeah, it just feels like between the production in South America, the uncertainty, the questions there, and the headlines this time of year, you run through a ton of headlines: delayed planting, delayed harvest, tariffs, geopolitics. Makes your head spin at times. So
yeah, good stuff. Hey, only other headline I have: Farm to Fly Act, right?
Okay.
Let's look. Biodiesel. I didn't think we were going to talk at all about sustainable fuel biodiesel because we've had Trump got in office, and you know how much we've seen it mentioned. Zero, right? The rhetoric, it feels like it's dead. We're seeing the Senate Committee on Agriculture, there's different sponsors, but basically the Farm to Fly Act aims to clarify SAF eligibility in the USDA's bioenergy programs to expand markets for American agricultural crops in aviation bioenergy. So it also encouraged greater collaboration on aviation biofuels throughout USDA mission areas, blah, blah, blah. So, they're looking to get a bill passed. Is this the Hail Mary, Brady? I mean, I got to ask the question, outside of our world, right, where we're looking for any type of demand for corn, soybeans, wheat, cattle that we can get, the amount that people want this, it just feels like it feels like it's a little bit of a dead duck in the water. I guess love to see some type of bill trying to be passed, but in terms of what does biodiesel and sustainable aviation fuel, what does the future hold for 2025? Man, it doesn't feel real good right now. What do you think?
Very similar. Yeah, I have many questions about this administration's stance on renewable energy, the ethanol, ag based, renewable type energy products, so sustainable aviation fuel, all that. I have a lot of questions about where where their opinion is, and you talk about small refinery exemptions as well. We've seen a ton of that over the past few years too. So where will we go on that front? Lots of questions, more questions than answers at this point. But yeah, anytime you see multiple angles of bills coming in there, what does that signal? Think another show here talked about, is this in place of 45Z, and does that mean 45Z is dead? Potentially. I don't know, Connor.
Right.
A lot of questions out there, Connor.
Yep. The one positive, if we're looking at that sector, the one positive is we are getting encouraging. It was about E15, right? That we could see Trump's EO that opened the door to year-round E15. That's supportive corn. So I guess we'll take what we can get, right?
Definitely. Yeah, that's huge. Yep. Speaking of corn, ATI Research had a good graphic they pumped out this morning. Let's flash that up and talk about this a little bit, Connor B. Monthly Chinese corn imports from different destinations. Looking at this graphic, Connor, what do you think? What comes to your mind?
Boy, talk about I go back to 22 and before. China did not buy Brazilian corn, right? Hardly at all. And then holy crap, we saw them buy a ton of Brazilian corn back in 2023. And now, right, they're really, you want them to buy US corn, but the truth of the matter is they're not buying corn from really anyone, right? So the question is, are they building up stocks? How much do they need to buy going forward is the big question. But yeah, amazing the cliff that China buying Brazil corn caused, and then how it went off. So very interesting.
Yep, ATI is always pumping it. Our research department's top notch, and they're always pumping out good graphics like this that get your wheels turning, get you thinking about different things than just the same old headlines that get regurgitated and recirculated out there on legacy media, mainstream media, social media, all of it. Sometimes having a little different angle of things, looking at things from big picture, broad scope, and not getting caught up into the riffraff of some of the headlines and noise out there day to day. I don't know. I think it's worth paying attention to. Will they ever come back for corn again anywhere, let alone the U.S., and be a buyer of U.S. grain? Something to think about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's do some questions and get out of here. What do you think?
I like it. Yep.
Will spring wheat ever be a respectable value again?
No, Robert.
That's what I was going to say. No. What is spring? I'm in Central Illinois. I watch Chicago wheat. Spring wheat. We got it right. March spring wheat.
I have to pull up a quote.
570. Wait, no, I need to look at Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
$6. So just over $6. What's a respectable price? Do we need to get it to 7?
I think that would be a start for many folks out there in spring wheat country. Yep, definitely. I think they would appreciate that. But that's a good question. I don't got the answer for you. You need some sort of production problem somewhere, and you need multiple dominoes to fall to get the wheat market, get any of these grain markets excited. You start getting one domino to fall, then you get another. Now we got a story, Connor B, and we can run with it.
Right. And then here we go. The wheat questions piling in. How did wheat jump? Why did wheat jump yesterday? I missed the news.
Yeah, wheat spiked yesterday. I had some orders fill on KC wheat spiking up above that $6 level, but really, turned around and sold back off. Not a great close on that market. I don't know that I know the if there's one reason for why wheat spiked. I think corn was supportive at the time when the wheat market was rallying up and pushing higher. Um, I don't know if people, funds are unwinding a short wheat, long corn type position, any position squaring type stuff like that. I can't tie it to one headline. Sorry. Sometimes we want to find one piece of, and one nugget of news to tie. This is why the market rallied, and oftentimes it's just a case of more buyers than sellers, or more sellers than buyers, and that day's price action.
Yeah. Absolutely. The price action matters as much as anything. I remember when I was new in this business, I was 22 years old. The elevator phone would ring. Why is corn up? And I'd be scrounging and I'd have to find the nearest headline. But that's the truth of the matter: is price action wins out more than anything. So we always say wheat should be double corn. I like it. If we could get, so I got D's corn at 462. Good. Speaking of good love. Good to stay above that 460 level, Brady. But let's make
we need $8 Minneapolis, $9 Minneapolis.
I was looking at Chicago wheat. Let's make $9 wheat great again. Sounds good to me, Robert.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember, what was it? $40 wheat, $20 corn, and $35 beans. I'm old enough to remember calls for those types of prices a couple years ago on some of the mainstream market channels. You remember those, Connor?
Mm-hmm. Oh man, so it'll be hard for us to rebuild the herd when herd dispersals are much more common than ranch startups. Less folks willing to take on the risk and also work long, hard hours.
That's the truth. Yep. It's being a cowboy is tough work. Somebody's got to go out there and take care of them every day. Dealing with livestock, you can't just take off and get out of there. You got to watch them and take care of them every day. So absolutely, there's some uphill battles for young producers to get involved in the market, and for that next generation to turn over and bring in that next generation into the ranch, into the operation, let alone start out with nothing and get into the business. It's an uphill battle there, but especially when bred cows and bred heifers cost what they do, take on a tremendous amount of risk, and the cost of capital is much more expensive than it was a few years ago, Connor.
Absolutely. So, last one. This is an interesting comment. You guys ever talk about water? It's the elephant in the room that runs throughout everything you talk about: investments, resources, access issues, etc. Interesting comment. Well, we do talk a lot about, I guess, precipitation, right? We got the drought monitor out. We try and mute it a little. Most of the weather precipitation talk is going to be down south, right? Because I think we've seen time and time again when we look at drought monitors January 23rd and how it affects the upcoming corn soybean planting, it really doesn't. So, but it's interesting comment.
Yeah, it is. Whether it's, an aquifer out here in Western Kansas, you pull a lot from the aquifer for your irrigation needs, rivers and access to, ditch irrigation type stuff, that stuff elsewhere in other parts of the country. One thing that's really interesting is, like the rainfall index that the government has for their PRF, pasture range and forage product, and the grids that they have, and how you can essentially hedge your water, the precipitation, the rainfall that you're going to get that year, and try to protect your production based on a forage standpoint, a pasture standpoint, based on those grids. Be interesting if they ever offered that on the crop side of things, on a rainfall type of deal. So,
it would be
good stuff.
So,
yeah.
So. All right. Well,
let's wrap it up and get out of here, Connor B. Any closing thoughts? I'll click the button.
Nope. Okay. Let's do it. Good rebound today on grain markets. Let's keep it going. Everyone have a great day.
Yep. Oh, premium side of things. Yesterday, Connor talked stock market and commodity markets. We can't forget to mention that. It was a good episode of Premium. Got more coming for you the rest of the week. Thanks for joining us today. Live at 9. Appreciate you always being here. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back again. See y'all. Have a great day.
See you.